Welcome to the Magic Power Podcast with Sarah Jasmin Cartsburg, where you get all the keys you need to awaken your spirit and soul, discover your life's purpose, and learn how to use the incredible power of your mind. To download your free and awesome bonuses, go to magicpowerpodcast.com/free. And now, your host, Sarah Jasmin Cartsburg.
This episode contains some adult language. If you are around children right now, then please put on your headphones now. Welcome back to another episode of the Magic Power Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Jasmin Cartsburg, and today's episode is for you. If you ever felt lonely, today's episode is for you. If you feel lonely sometimes, if you have times when you feel that nobody understands how you feel and nobody seems to understand who you really are and what's going on in your mind, this episode is also for you. If you sometimes pretend to be someone who's not the real you. What do I mean by that? I mean that you behave in ways that you don't want to behave, but you just behave in those ways because you want to belong and you want to be liked by the people around you. Well, I can take a big burden off your shoulders here because behaving so that other people like you is something completely natural. It's actually deeply embedded in our genes. It's part of our biological instincts. Think about it. Humans are not meant to survive on their own. And just a few hundred or a few thousand years ago, if you were not accepted by the people around you, if you were banned from your tribe, from your village, from your city, you would very likely have died. Because it's a very new scenario that humans are able to survive without anyone around us liking us. But those experiences from the past and those memories and this natural instinct of needing to be part of a group, of needing to be accepted and valued as a group member is essential for your survival. And even though you might be a spiritual person, just like I am, still your biological instincts are always active. You are a spiritual being inside a human body. And that means that biology is influencing your life and it's influencing your behavior and what you think and what you feel. And going against your biological instincts is really difficult. It's even almost impossible. But there is something you can do about it that I'm going to share with you right now. When I was younger, I was feeling the same as you might be feeling right now. I felt absolutely lonely. I felt that nobody could understand who I really am, and nobody was able to understand what I was thinking and what I was going through and why things are important to me that seem to be not important to them. So this made me a little bit of an outsider. But as you know, being an outsider doesn't feel very good. So I tried a lot of things to be accepted, to be part of the group. And it felt like selling my soul because it wasn't the real me. For example, when I was about 15 years old, everyone around me, all the girls, were really into fashion and wearing the right clothes and doing the right things to meet the right guys, to have the right social life. And I wanted to be accepted by those girls and by these guys because I didn't want to feel lonely all the time. So I tried to dress like them and to behave like them, but it just didn't feel right at all. I hated it, but I didn't know what else to do. Because every time I would wear something that I liked, they would look at me and say, "Oh my God, Sarah, that's so out. What are you wearing there?" And then I felt bad, and nobody wants to feel bad. And you have to be very, very self-conscious to be able to be above those comments from other people. And it's very hard to do so. So what happened was that when I was 18 years old, everything shifted. Because a friend of mine had invited me to a rainbow gathering. I had no idea what rainbow gatherings are, but it sounded like something I would enjoy. And anyway, I did have time, so I joined him on this trip to the rainbow gathering. And being there, I was shocked because I suddenly realized that there are thousands of people out there who are just like me. And they were all gathering in this one place at the rainbow gathering. And I suddenly felt like I do belong and I can be just as I am, just my natural expression of my soul and of myself, and still belong to a group of people, still belong to a tribe, and be accepted for who I really am. And even though after being on the rainbow gathering, I went back to my normal daily life, I still had this feeling inside of me that I'm not alone. And there is this tribe of people out there who are my group, who I belong to, even if they do not live next door, even if I do not meet them on a regular basis. I still had this deep inner sense that I belong. And this gave me the power to start showing everyone else who I really am and how I really behave and what I really think and feel. So I highly, highly recommend that you try to find a group of people, to find a tribe that you can connect with, that you feel at ease, that you feel at home if you are around those people. And I guarantee you that there is a tribe, a group of people out there that is just perfect for you. And in the times of internet and social media, it got so much easier to find those tribes. But just a second, I don't mean for you to find an online group where you can chat and exchange some opinions. I mean that you go and find real people, a real group that you can meet with. Even if it's just once a year, it will make such a big difference in your life because it will give you a sense of belonging. And when your biological instincts are being fulfilled, then you can put your energy into other projects. Because as long as you don't really belong, you put all your energy into fulfilling your basic needs. Meaning you put a lot of energy into being part of the group you need to be part of because a part of your brain tells you that this is necessary if you want to survive. Even though it's not real anymore in today's world, your biological instinct still tells you that this is the reality that you live in. So it does feel very real to you. And there are some other things that you should know, that you're really paying a high price if you try to belong to a tribe and to a group of people that you don't really belong to. This might also help you to understand your teenage kids, because that's exactly what they do. They want to be part of a group, And when they found a group that they like, they will do everything to be accepted inside that group. Think about yourself. You did the same when you were a teenager. There were certain people that you liked, and you would do everything to be part of that group, even if that meant picking up smoking, taking drugs, doing dangerous things, drinking alcohol, even if you don't enjoy it. All those crazy things that maybe you wanted to do them, but maybe you didn't. And maybe you just did them because the group requested you to do so, to be part of it. So just to give you an idea and to give you the hope that there is a group out there for you, I'm going to give you a few examples of crazy groups. Well, what I mean by crazy is that if you don't know about those groups because someone you know would tell you about them, you might never even know they existed. For example, there are those gatherings, we have a lot of them in Germany actually, where people meet for a weekend or for a week and they play fantasy games in real time. And I mean adults meeting there, not children. So they dress as a fantasy being and they build up this whole village or scenario and they play the real game. So there will be elves and there will be the good people and the bad people and just everything that happens in a fantasy novel, they will play in real time. And they even have certain rules. For example, if you cheat on your boyfriend during one of these games, it doesn't count because it's part of the game, right? So just one crazy example. And if you are part of one of those groups that I'm telling you about right now, please don't feel offended. I love the idea that there are all those groups out there. I just want to inform you that those groups can be very different from each other and they can have very different values from each other. And that's what makes them so special, because if you find a group that shares your values, you will feel accepted. So another group, for example, are the rainbow people, the ones I told you about earlier. It's kind of like at a rainbow gathering, a bunch of hippies are meeting with the intention to make the world a better place and to connect back to Mother Nature. I haven't really understood yet how this really makes the world a better place if those people just meet, but it certainly does something. The idea that you meet with people with the intention to live as natural as possible. So, for example, on a rainbow gathering, it's totally natural to shower naked because that's just what everyone does there. Even if you wouldn't shower naked, people might look weird at you because that's a value of the tribe. Maybe that's different in the US. I'm talking about rainbow gatherings in Europe. So let me give you an example of another group of people that many people feel like they found their tribe. For example, a certain kind of sport like climbing. If you love climbing and you found people who love climbing as well, and you climb together regularly, you have found your tribe. You have found your group of people. And certainly it doesn't matter anymore what your profession is or what you do in your other life when you're not climbing. It all just doesn't matter because you share the passion of climbing. So there is another group of people who meet up in huge gatherings to play computer games together. I want to be honest with you, I don't really understand this group of people, but they do meet and they do feel valued being part of that group and playing computer games all night, all day, for days straight. There is another group of people, the travelers, the people who just say, I don't want to continue with my life as it is right now. And they give up everything and they quit their jobs and they sell everything they have and they just start traveling. And they might fall in love with it so much that they continue traveling, and they travel and they live in different places and in different countries. And on their travels, they meet their tribe because they meet other travelers. So these were just a few ideas I wanted to give you so that you feel some hope. And I really want to encourage you to go out and to think about what your tribe could look like. What are the values that are really important to you? What are your true passions, even if they are really weird to everyone around you where you live it? I guarantee you there will be a group of people out there who are just as passionate about your topic as you are. So please go out and start finding them. Start connecting with them, and you will feel the sense of ease that will enter your life, enter your being, once you feel like you belong to a group of people where you can be the real you and not some fake version of yourself. So I do hope you have a magical and wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to the Magic Power Podcast. If you loved this episode, please share it with your friends and subscribe to her show now on magicpowerpodcast.com.